This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
In the headlines, Iran has condemned Washington's latest pressure campaign as economic terrorism following President Donald Trump's announcement of sweeping sanctions targeting Tehran and its international trading partners. A Safari helicopter crash near Mount Ololukwe in Kenya's Samburu County has killed all 7 people on board, including Ecuador's intelligence chief, his wife, and 5 American citizens. At least 15 people were killed in a massive overnight attack on Kyiv as Ukrainian authorities admitted their air defenses failed to intercept incoming ballistic missiles. South Africa's Constitutional Court has stripped Shell and Impact Africa of their offshore exploration rights along the Wild Coast, ruling that public consultation requirements were not properly followed. Chinese real estate tycoon Xu Jiayin, the former chairman of Evergrande Group, has been sentenced to life in prison for multiple financial and corporate crimes, with billions of yuan in fines also imposed on Evergrande entities. And back home, the National Bureau of Investigation has defended its raid on Davao Mighty Steel, saying it was a joint multi-agency operation after workers accused authorities of harassment and threats during the raid. I'm Almar Forzuelo. Newsline World starts now. Iran has sharply condemned Washington's latest pressure campaign, labeling it economic terrorism. The diplomatic fallout follows U.S. President Donald Trump's announcement of unprecedented sanctions targeting Tehran and its international trading partners. This report from Virgil Parba.
Tensions between Washington and Tehran escalated further following U.S. President Donald Trump's declaration of an economic D-Day campaign. The initiative aims to impose severe financial isolation on Iran and any nation offering it commercial lifelines. In response, Iranian Foreign Minister Sayyid Abbas Araghchi dismissed the threats as a political diversion from America's internal economic challenges. He warned that doubling down on coercive policies will only deepen regional hostility and threaten global economic stability. Iranian diplomatic officials reiterated that recent U.S. measures reflect a continuation of failed military strategies. They noted that past escalation has only driven Tehran to expand its defense capabilities. Meanwhile, officials from Iran's Islamic Revolution Guard Corps warned that any renewed military conflict would draw responses utilizing next-generation missile technology with enhanced precision and range. With a 60-day diplomatic window established under the June Memorandum of Understanding having expired without a final accord, international observers warned that the ongoing maritime blockade and escalating economic measures continue to jeopardize regional stability and global energy markets. This has been Virgil Parba, your global citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
Ukrainian authorities confirmed at least 15 fatalities following a massive overnight attack on Kyiv. Officials admit their air defenses failed to intercept any incoming ballistic missiles as President Zelensky renews urgent appeals for U.S. Patriot replenishments. Jane Kudita has the updates.
The destruction is widespread. Firefighters and emergency crews have been working around the clock to control fires across the capital. Firefighters and emergency crews battled fires at warehouses and logistics facilities across Kyiv following a 9-hour barrage of cruise missiles, hypersonic weapons, and attack drones. Ukrainian officials said most incoming drones and cruise missiles were intercepted. However, they acknowledged that none of the ballistic missiles were stopped, highlighting critical shortages in air defense interceptors. President Volodymyr Zelensky warned that delays in U.S. Patriot interceptor deliveries are costing lives. He says Ukraine remains ready to purchase additional systems to protect its airspace. Russian defense officials claimed the strikes destroyed military-industrial depots, energy facilities, and logistics hubs. But local authorities reported damage to residential buildings, a school, and a children's medical facility as crews worked to restore power and water. Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko declared a day of mourning for the victims. Meanwhile, European and allied leaders urged faster deliveries of air defense systems as Ukraine's interceptor stocks continue to dwindle. This has been Jane Cogniter, Global Citizen Correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
A powerful 7.2 magnitude earthquake struck southern Peru on Thursday, triggering landslides and dust clouds across mountainous provinces while prompting emergency assessments across affected communities. Prince Tripoli has the news.
According to Geophysical Institute of Peru, the magnitude 7.2 tremor struck at a depth of 108 kilometers, centered 35 kilometers north of Coracora in Parinacocas province. Social media footage from Pausa, the capital of Bacoor del Sara province, showed massive dust clouds rising from hillside, landslide triggered by the seismic shaking, while the quake was felt across Arequipa, Ica, Cusco, Apurimac, and Huancavelica. Naval authorities ruled out any tsunami risk along the Peruvian coastline. Parinacocas Mayor Tony Reyes Anampa appealed for immediate support from national and regional authorities, highlighting the vulnerability of local homes constructed from adobe and corrugated iron. The National Institute of Civil Defense urged residents to remain calm in designated safe areas as monitoring teams assess structural conditions across rural Andean townships. Civil defense personnel and local response teams continue monitoring remote mountain communities for structural impacts, while no fatalities have been reported following the initial earthquake. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Prince Tripoli, SMNI News.
Two Mexican fishermen have been rescued by the Mexican Navy after spending 5 days drifting at sea, clinging to a floating refrigerator following a boat capsized off the coast of Chiapas. Faith Agustin has the story.
The Mexican Navy successfully rescued two fishermen stranded for 5 days in the Pacific, roughly 240 kilometers off the coast of Chiapas. Their ordeal began after their boat was capsized by a massive wave. Search crews spotted the men waving a cloth to attract attention. Rescuers found them clinging to a large floating cooler they had used as a makeshift life raft. Naval personnel pulled the fishermen aboard and treated them for severe dehydration and exhaustion. The duo miraculously survived after surviving 5 days without food or drinking water. They were later brought ashore for further medical care and reunited with their families. Mexican maritime authorities credited coordinated air and sea patrols for successfully locating the survivors despite highly challenging open ocean conditions. This has been Faith Agustin, your Global Citizen Correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
South Africa's Constitutional Court has dealt a major blow to energy giants Shell and Impact Africa, stripping them of their offshore exploration rights along the Wild Coast following massive public consultation failures. Verhil Parba reports.
South Africa's highest court delivered a landmark ruling setting aside the oil and gas exploration right previously held by Shell and Impact Africa along the environmentally sensitive Wild Coast, overturning a previous Supreme Court of Appeal decision that allowed the energy giants to cure procedural flaws through renewal applications. The Constitutional Court determined that corporate investments cannot override constitutional rights or the failure to meaningfully consult local communities.
This is an incredibly significant environmental ruling, possibly one of the most important in our history, because the court really for the first time said that it is incumbent on governments, particularly when they authorize, fossil fuel exploration.
Environmental advocates and indigenous fishing communities celebrated the judgment, which effectively halts planned offshore seismic testing over concerns regarding marine ecosystems, local livelihoods, and spiritual heritage. Legal experts noted that while the companies could technically reapply in the future, an ongoing government moratorium on new offshore exploration rights currently prevents new submissions.
What Shell was found not to have done, Shell and Impact, was that they hadn't conducted proper public consultations with affected communities So the notices were not in languages that people spoke. They were not circulated widely enough in areas where people lived that would have been impacted.
The ruling establishes a major legal precedent across South Africa's energy sector, affirming that environmental protections, climate considerations, and community consultation must take priority in public administrative decisions. This has been Verhil Parba, your Global Citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
Tragedy in East Africa. A safari helicopter crash near Mount Olulukwe in Kenya's Samburu County has killed all 7 people on board. Among the victims are Ecuador's intelligence chief, his wife, and 5 American citizens. Carlo de la Peña has the story.
Emergency teams and aviation authorities responded in northern Kenya's Samburu County after an NBN chartered Eurocopter EC-130B4 crashed near Mount Olulukwe. The aircraft was flying from Loisaba Conservancy to the Ewaso Nero area when it went down in dense forest at around 9:13 a.m. local time. The impact triggered a massive post-crash fire that completely destroyed the wreckage. Officials confirmed all 7 people on board were killed, including Ecuadorian intelligence chiefs Michelle Sensi Contugi, his wife, 4 American tourists, and the Kenyan pilot. Difficult terrain and intense flames hampered search and recovery operations, while Kenya's Air Accident Investigation Department launched an investigation into the cause of the crash. Diplomatic authorities are coordinating the repatriation of the victims. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Carlo de la Peña, SMNI News.
Up next, Chinese real estate tycoon Xu Jiayin, the former chairman of Evergrande Group, has been sentenced to life in prison for multiple financial and corporate crimes, with billions of yuan in fines also imposed on Evergrande entities. The National Bureau of Investigation has defended its raid on Davao Mighty Steel, saying it was a joint multi-agency operation after workers accused authorities of harassment and threats during the raid. More news after the break.
The biggest indoor cathedral in the world is about to open. You are about to witness the opening of the largest indoor cathedral in the world. An architectural and engineering marvel. A new landmark rises. A testament of faith and love beyond measure. A reflection of perseverance and unity. A mark of a visionary man who wants to bring world-class and first-world experience to Davao City, to the Philippines. The manifestation of the Almighty Father, our Lord Jesus Christ's glory and honor through His appointed Son, Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy. Once a vision, now fulfilled. A symbol of excellence stands before the world, where greatness gathers and where the future takes center stage. This is the KOJC's new place of worship, a sacred space sanctified for its Thanksgiving and worship presentations, where His sons and daughters shall gather to pay homage and offer the highest praises and adoration to the Almighty Father, our Lord Jesus Christ, through His appointed Son, Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy. A new chapter begins for the kingdom of Jesus Christ. Be part of history. Come and witness the grand opening of the world's largest indoor cathedral, the Kingdom. Join us as we worship in spirit and in truth. Find the true way to freedom, truth, and salvation. Listen to the words that giveth life, delivered only by the appointed Son of God, Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy, to whom the Almighty Father, our Lord Jesus Christ, has entrusted His true message. Happening on September 1st, 2026, 5 o'clock in the afternoon at the Kingdom, KOJC Compound, Phil Japan Friendship Highway, Sasa, Davao City, Philippines. Be there and be blessed like never before.
Register now at kd-opening.kingdomofjesuschrist.global or scan the QR code on your screen. A friendly reminder from the KOJC and the Kingdom team. Visitors who wish to attend are requested to observe the following decorum and dress code. White polo or barong for men. White dress or Filipiniana for women. No slippers. No caps or hats are allowed inside the Kingdom. Children below 13 years old are also not allowed at the Kingdom. The following items are also strictly prohibited: firearms, ammunition, knives and other bladed sharp objects, explosives, fireworks, pepper spray, tasers and stun guns, batons, metal rods, clubs or other blunt weapons, large bags, backpacks or luggage, illegal drugs and controlled substances, alcoholic beverages, laser pointers and drones, tumblers, glass bottles and glass containers, banners, placards, flags or signs, portable chairs or stools, vapes or e-cigarettes. Any item deemed dangerous, disruptive, or prohibited by the event security personnel. Let us continue to uphold Davao City's culture of security.
Be part of history. Come and witness the grand opening of the world's largest indoor cathedral, the Kingdom.
A Chinese court has sentenced Xu Jiayin, the former chairman of real estate giant Evergrande Group, to life in prison after convicting him of multiple financial and corporate crimes. The Shenzhen Intermediate People's Court also levied billions of yuan in fines against Evergrande entities. MJ Mondiha reports.
One of the most high-profile corporate downfalls in modern Chinese history has culminated in a life sentence for the head of the real estate giant Evergrande. The Shenzhen Intermediate People's Court in Guangdong Province found Evergrande Group and Xu Jiayin guilty of multiple financial crimes. The convictions include illegally absorbing public deposits, fundraising fraud, illegally issuing loans, fraudulent issuance of securities, unlawful disclosure of important information, and corporate bribery. The court also convicted Xu of illegally using funds and embezzlement, while Evergrande Real Estate Group was convicted of fraudulent issuance of securities. As part of the penalty, the court fined Evergrande Group 8.82 billion yuan or $1.3 billion and fined Evergrande Real Estate Group 7 billion yuan. Xu was deprived of his political rights for life, and all of his personal assets were ordered confiscated, alongside the continued recovery of illegal gains. Judicial authorities established that Xu held total operational responsibility for managing Evergrande's sprawling business network. According to the court, Xu acted as the actual controller of Evergrande Group, overseeing operations spanning real estate, property management, and finance. Judges stated that the criminal actions of Xu and the two corporate entities severely disrupted the socialist market economy and infringed upon public and private property rights. The court added that the acts undermined the integrity of public officials in the performance of their duties. Ruling on the severity of the sentence, the court cited the exceptionally large sums involved, the particularly egregious circumstances, the extraordinarily heavy economic losses, and extremely serious harm caused to society. Judges concluded that severe punishment under the law was warranted for all parties involved. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been MJ Mondihar, SMNA News.
Two individuals, including a job order contract employee of the National Bureau of Investigation or NBI, were arrested in an entrapment operation in Pasay City for allegedly extorting money from businessmen in Mindanao while claiming to have the authority of NBI officials. Kai Villan has the report.
Based on information from the NBI Organized and Transnational Crime Division or OTCD, among those arrested was a job order employee assigned to the agency's Digital Forensics Laboratory, and his alleged accomplice was a civilian confidential agent. Another suspect remains at large and is still being pursued by authorities. According to NBI Director Melvin Matibag, the job order employee had allegedly been going around Mindanao for some time and had been using other individuals to collect money from certain businessmen.
May mga pinapaikot na sinasabi na utos ng direktor para mangolekta ng mga iba't ibang halaga doon sa mga taong Medyo may mga negosyo ron na hindi nakarehistro ng tama.
The operation was conducted at around 1 in the afternoon on August 19 at a restaurant at SM by the Bay, Mall of Asia Complex in Pasay City. The case is stemmed from a complaint filed by a businessman from Mindanao with the NBI Pagadian District Office. According to the complainant, the suspects introduced themselves as NBI agents and claimed they were investigating illegal rice importation in Region 9. The victim was initially asked to pay 300,000 pesos in exchange for an alleged import permit, which was never provided. The suspects allegedly later attempted to collect an additional 30,000 pesos from the victim in Manila. According to the agency, the group had allegedly collected a total of 1.7 million pesos through intimidation.
Yun daw, pinapakolekta daw ng direktor. 1.7 million. So wala po tayong inutusan na ganyan.
Aside from the marked money, authorities also recovered from the primary suspect a Colt 45 caliber pistol, along with a questionable mission order and an unsigned property acknowledgement receipt allegedly issued by the Philippine Army. The suspects are facing charges of robbery with violence against or intimidation of persons or extortion under Article 294 of the Revised Penal Code in relation to Republic Act 10175 or the Cybercrime Prevention Act, as well as usurpation of authority. The NBI personnel is also facing an additional charge of illegal possession of firearms under Republic Act 10591. The NBI is continuing its follow-up operations to identify other individuals who may have been involved in the alleged extortion scheme. Reporting for Newsline World, Kai Villan, SMNA News.
The National Bureau of Investigation has defended its operation at Davao Mighty Steel, clarifying it was a joint multi-agency effort after workers claimed they were harassed and threatened during the raid. Kai Villan is back for more news.
Itutukan dyan pinong baril. Kulpa kayo, may sa tinuod lang.
Following the operation, several Davao Mighty Steel workers took to social media and local interviews alleging they were harassed during the raid. Some claimed armed personnel pointed long firearms at them, searched their belongings, and ordered them to stay quiet while authorities carried out the operation. However, NBI Director Melvin Matibag denied these claims, calling it a political statement.
Well, that is a political statement ng mga nagano politika.
The National Bureau of Investigation clarified that it was not the only agency involved in the Davao Mighty Steel operation. According to NBI Director Attorney Melvin Matibag, several government agencies worked together in implementing the search warrant, conducting site assessments, and ensuring the safety of the workers. Matibag said the operation involved the PAOK, Philippine Nuclear Research Institute, Department of National Defense, Philippine Coast Guard, and other government agencies. The NBI said 174 Filipino workers were rescued during the operation after authorities allegedly detected radioactive bearing materials inside the facility. Matibag also denied allegations that workers were threatened or held at gunpoint. He explained that while armed personnel were present because authorities were enforcing a search warrant, that didn't mean workers were being intimidated or arrested.
Wala naman ginawa na ganun. But law enforcement, siyempre pag nag-enforce ka ng warrant, search warrant, lahat naman yan talagang meron namang mga dalang barila. But it's not true. Their rights were respected. Even those who were personalities na kinasuhan, they were rid of their rights. At yung mga workers, malino yung sinabi na hindi sila inaaresto, kundi they're being rescued dun sa nangyayari operations.
The NBI added that personnel from various government agencies and members of the media witnessed the operation. Authorities are continuing to verify the extent of the distribution of affected Davao Mighty Steel products through product tracing, laboratory testing, and engineering assessments. The NBI has also referred the case against Davao Mighty Steel to the Department of Justice for possible violations involving radioactive materials, environmental compliance, and consumer protection laws.
Unta, magkuhan sila sa mga bago nila nagibuhat, kung naunahon nila mga trabante, asa nila dalaon.
Reporting for Newsline World, Kai Villan, SMNA News.
Following a major backlash from global superstar group BTS, the Recording Academy is already re-evaluating its newly introduced Best Asian Pop Music Performance category just 2 months after its launch. Meanwhile, Grammy-winning icon Celine Dion is opening up about her long-standing battle with stiff person syndrome and the rigorous training routine she has embraced as she prepares for her highly anticipated return to the stage in Paris. Here's Faith Agustin for the Showbuzz.
Recording Academy CEO Harvey Mason Jr. announced that leadership is gathering feedback from Asian music industry stakeholders following pushback against the newly introduced Best Asian Pop Music Performance category. The goal was inclusivity, but Mason admits the new category backfired, making artists feel boxed in by region and language. The pushback peaked when all 7 members of BTS officially pulled out of the 2027 Grammys, declaring music shouldn't have geographical borders. Now the Academy's Board and Awards and Nominations Committee are re-evaluating the new category as well as the overall process for creating future awards. Adding fuel to the fire, fans notice old BTS Grammy clips missing from the website, though the Academy claims it's just routine video rotation. For now, the category stands while BTS's agency Hybes stays silent on whether any changes will end their boycott. Meanwhile, Celine Dion is dropping emotional new details about her health battle. In a new Harper's Bazaar cover story, the icon reveals she suffered symptoms of stiff person syndrome for 17 years before finally getting diagnosed in 2022. The rare progressive autoimmune disorder causes severe muscle rigidity and painful spasms, which at times left her struggling to walk and relying on high doses of medication. After canceling her world tour in May 2023, Dion committed to an aggressive rehabilitation regimen that includes vocal therapy, physical therapy, and immunotherapy. Her secret to getting stage ready? A tough regimen of pilates 3 times a week, plus ballet classes twice a week. Since 2018, she's only performed once, her breathtaking moment at the 2024 Paris Olympics. And now she's gearing up for 6 major shows in Paris this coming September, calling the concerts her ultimate thank you to the fans who stood by her. This has been Faith Agustin, your Global Citizen correspondent, bringing you the latest showbuzz.
Nikola Jokic led Serbia to a 90-87 victory over France, spoiling Victor Wembanyama's return to international basketball. Meanwhile, the US Open will award a record $108 million in player compensation this year, while all 4 Grand Slam tournaments have agreed to form a new player advisory council. Here's Carlo de la Peña for the sports news.
3-time NBA MVP Nikola Jokic finished with 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists as Serbia pulled away after a closely contested first half. Wembanyama, playing for France for the first time since the 2024 Olympic final, struggled against Serbia's physical defense and scored just 10 points. The 2 teams will meet again in Orleans on Sunday as they continue their preparations for the 2027 FIBA World Cup qualifiers. Meanwhile, the record purse is a 20% increase from last year's $85 million, with the men's and women's singles champions each receiving $5.5 million. First-round losers will also receive $140,000, with increases spread across all events, including doubles and wheelchair competitions. The 4 Grand Slams, the Australian Open, French Open, Wimbledon, and US Open, said the new chapter council will provide a direct channel for players to give feedbacks and help shape Grand Slam policies. The council is expected to launch after this year's US Open. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Carlo de la Peña bringing you the latest sports news.
And before we end, may you be inspired with the words of the Son. Guard your mind, soul, and heart that they will remain upright in the sight of God. That's all for this edition of Newsline World. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, I'm Almar Forzuelo. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
This is SMNI News Channel. Truth